really throw you off. So today we're going to talk all about the cheaper markets that you can target on it. Remember, this one's going to be kind of quick. So it's, and I'm going to go slowly through them. So if you were in these markets or you were even in that state, I would love to hear from you. And I can even like hop you on if you want to talk about it. So now guys, remember, I started a market, I mean, $50,000 to like $60,000 was the average price. And right now that market is at 4.25. But just to show you how powerful real estate is and what happens as inflation over time goes. And guys, I'm here to tell you, the funny thing about it is, do you think real estate actually is worth more, or the dollar, the US dollar, is worth less? I already know the answer to this. I'll let you guys kind of put in the comments what you think it is. But it is probably a combo of both, but it's more of one than the other. So I'm looking at some of these numbers. Jason's at 320. Dude, you got a lot of room. It's like, it seems like once you hit 5, that's when you start to have like some issues. Like everyone's at, you know, he's 500 up. I mean, Maryland, it's been around like forever. So it's, you guys just want to, it's really good to just look. Now, guys, this isn't a competition. There's no right or wrong. Like, demand sets what the average median price of a home is. Like, end of story. So I just want to show you, like, a lot of people, like, I can't find a market. I don't know what to do with. So let's just jump into it right now. So now this is not my favorite state for obvious reasons to do wholesaling in it. But keep in mind, I want you guys to understand every type of wholesaling we're doing, we want some sort of minimum population. So the only rules I set on this was that you had to have at least a 40,000 person population. Okay. Guys, I can find some stuff in the Midwest with 1,000, 2,000 people with $80,000 price points, but you're never going to be able to move them. So they're like, there's really no point in doing that. So, and guys, listen, if you're brand new to this channel, you're in the right place. If you want to know about wholesaling, you want to know how to get started, maybe you're short on funds. Heck, maybe you got a ton of money. I don't care. We are going to give you the best course available. I've come up with freewholesaling.com. Me and my son developed the course. It's 100% free. And honestly, it's got over 25 years experience. So why would you go to somebody else? It's up to you. The whole course is transparent. You might as well work with us either first, or you can pay for a course, and almost everybody comes back to us in the end because we're just going to give you the truth. Check out freewholesaling.com on the bottom, and I promise you the whole thing's free. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I release videos on Rick Ginn that I don't do on Flip with Rick, or I don't do on my son's channel. The idea is to kind of let you to get to know personally. So the more you watch me, I promise you, I will keep telling you more and more about me. It's like getting to kind of know a friend. Eventually, I would love to do something in person and get you guys all together. So the more people we get subscribed to the channel, the more enthusiastic I am on doing something like that. So, and then obviously, listen, if you like what you hear, dude, smash that like button. It helps a lot of people find out like what we're doing on there. So once again, if you're new, on the bottom, freewholesaling.com, that's the place you want to be. And honestly, if you've never started and you're waiting to get your first deal, or you've done 10 deals and you're a little bit rusty and you want to be more efficient, I'll get you to your first 100 grand. Check it out. It's not that hard. So let's go back down. So I popped it up, and I started a little bit before there. Pariah, Illinois, $113,000 average price. Now, Illinois has got some challenges with wholesaling, as you guys know. I'm not going to get into it. Me and Zach have done a lot of videos on this, but guys, there's an opportunity. So just because if it doesn't work in your backyard, you can easily go and virtually find any of these markets. I'm not going to tell you like I'm some master. You can pull these reports up yourself. Okay. But keep in mind, if you want to look for a cheap market, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. I'm not a big fan of like going into really blighted neighborhoods that are like really rough. Okay. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I started out in a lot of those markets, and then they will drive you nuts on wholesaling. They're hard. The drama is huge, and the profits are low. And for that reason, I completely stay away from them. Full disclosure, the first 5 years, I spent a lot of time in them. But keep in mind, I was buying duplexes, 20, 30,000, selling them for 50. But when I first started, I'd only make a couple $1,000s. And honestly, they were probably some of the hardest deals I ever did. So notice the population to the right of this, 112,000. That means there is a good base there. Now, when you look into these virtual markets for these cheap markets, you want to look at the demographics. And the demographics is just the data, what's going around in there. You want to know if it's growing or expanding. I prefer expanding populations. But like sometimes when you do like some of the other markets like Detroit and some of the Ohio markets, the numbers look cheap, but some people are just leaving the state because there's not as many line production jobs. And that is having a huge effect on it. But guys, check out Pariah, Illinois, 113,000. You got to be kidding me. If anybody with Pariah is on here, let's talk about it. Jesus, he's averaging 400K, San Bernardino. That's really not even that bad. That is, I believe, is that California, I believe? I think it is. I know there's probably more than one San Bernardino. Okay. So I'm gonna make this interactive. So guys, if your market pops up here or you're working it, please let me know. Coming into our next one, you ready for this? I can't even pronounce it. I'm gonna butcher it. Tarit Hout, Indiana. And guys, listen, the whole great state of Indiana is cheap. Okay, listen, I know it's bitterly cold there. It's been there a long time, but 131,000, 60,000 is a perfect population. Full disclosure, I don't know if it's expanding or shrinking. If somebody wants to look it up, that is great data to know, because I like places that are growing, because that means the appreciation for the pricing eventually will come. We don't really care about appreciation, but the people we sell to it care hugely about appreciation. So don't discount that completely. Most of Indiana, and I've done deals there. I'm not going to give cities because you guys can find it on your own. They're cheap, guys. And honestly, these prices, it was sub 100,000 2 years ago, hands down, when I did the data. Okay. Coming in on Saginaw, Michigan. Okay. Guys, listen, my friends in Michigan, I love you guys to death, but guys, I didn't create this data. A lot of people flock to Michigan because it's super cheap. If you can deal with the winter months or you can travel to Florida in the winter, Michigan's a perfect place if somebody wants to live there. But 110K at 48K population, it's a no-brainer. Actually, Michigan, you would think it would be a retracting market, but it's actually an expanding market. So I know that for a fact. Okay. And guys, so I want you to put in the comments what you think another like cheap state's going to be. There's a pattern going on here and you can kind of figure it out. I'll give you a little hint. It's not in the warm states at all. Not even close anymore. Okay. So, yeah, California. That's what I figured. So, so Jason like nailed it right on the head, guys. Ohio forever has been a dirt cheap state. Now, most people live in Ohio, and I'm not picking on Ohioans. Okay. And I'm not a Buckeye fan, so I'm not like super popular with Ohio people. But the only people I met from Ohio is you were born there with family. Nobody runs to Ohio and goes, "Oh my God, I got to move to Ohio." Like beautiful falls, nice springtime, man. But that's I've been up there in the winter just a few days, and it's cold. Now, the other reason people go to Ohio is right here. Okay, this is not an error. Youngstown, Ohio, $54,000. It is extremely affordable. Ohio has always been a blue-collar working state, and most of it's kept together by family. I mean, generation after generation, and it's been very affordable housing. This $54,000, if you looked at this 2 years ago, it would have been probably sub 40. So insanity, guys. Okay. Honestly, you're going to find more wholesalers in Ohio. Most of the larger, what I call the people who always say I do 10, 15, 30, 40, a lot of them do it in Ohio. Why? Look at these prices. Okay. 54, that's like me doing 10 houses in Florida. Okay. That's why me doing 3, 5 to 7 houses in Florida is like doing 50 in Ohio. So once again, when someone gives you a number of houses they flip, look past that because it doesn't really mean anything. Okay. Some run legit operations. like someone to do volume, listen, if that's what you're going to do, like I'm all for it. I did that at one point too. There just comes a point where I want financial freedom and freedom of my time. And this myth where like you can like grow a monster business and walk away from it. In real estate, you always have to pay attention and work it. Like I've never met anyone's business where they just walked away for a year. Okay. Honestly, I haven't met a business where someone's walked away for like a day or two. These are intense. And when you get 10 or 12 employees, it is a lot of work. I'm not into that, but if I was going to do 50 deals a month, I would go straight to Ohio. I wouldn't stop on go. I would go. And it's not just Youngstown. You can look at the entire map of Ohio and it's like cheap. So listen, if you want a big giant house with, I don't even know if you can get a lot of acreage there. It's a great place to start out. But if you're looking for a virtual market, the outskirts of like Cleveland, like it goes on forever and ever. Germantown, everything. And it's a big state. And let me tell you what, like Ohio has like the nicest people in the world. So like wholesaling, especially you guys in California, if you want a little bit more niceness, go to the Midwest. It like works really well. Now, you got to deal with frozen pipes and all that fun stuff. And wholesaling gets a little bit challenging if you do it, if you're doing it locally during, I guess, January, February, and a little bit of March, because I don't know how to get through snow. So moving on. Davenport, Iowa, 73,000. But look at that population, 102,000. Guys, if you're looking for virtual markets, I don't want you to just go, oh my God, I'm doing Davenport. Rick put it up there. I'm just showing you opportunity exists. Okay. So virtual, you like to start at like lower price points. You always want to do the stuff in your backyard. I'm just giving you ideas. Okay. Not every house is $1 million in the United States. There are markets outside. Okay. So get outside these established markets and find a niche market that you can attack and you can do some like serious damage. And let me tell you, I'm sure now I know a few people from Iowa, wonderful, wonderful people. And the really neat thing is like when you get outside like a California, Florida, New York, like people actually get nice. Like I'm just talking about, especially you cold callers and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like people can be brutal. So guys, give me some likes, man. I'm dying, dude. Just one like. Come on, man. Okay, our next one up. Erie, Pennsylvania, 165. Now, that number's gone up significantly. I'm very familiar with this market. I'm not going to get into details of it, but 96,000, that number has definitely grown. It's not huge, but it's definitely there. Guys, once again, I'm just showing you opportunity. This isn't even like a teaching moment. I just want to show you what is possible in these markets. This one's going to surprise you. Georgia, Macon, Georgia, 144K, 153 population, which is exploding. This number's gone way up. But honestly, guys, you know 144,000 is a ridiculously affordable house. Remember, that's the average of the highs and the lows when you do it. So I want to show you one more thing here just to open your eyes up. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I'm going to share a screen here. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, I'm not going to hit that button because I'm scared it's going to bounce it off. So, so let me take a look here. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas. I'm not going to pull this up on the screen. I'm looking on my computer, so I can't see you guys right now. Detroit, Michigan, 200K. Cleveland, Ohio, 169. Toledo, Ohio, 128. Here's a really cool one. You ready for this? Buffalo, New York, 199. And never even knew. I thought that was like left field stuff. Syracuse, New York. The average listing price, 185. I'll have to verify that. That does not sound right. Okay. We've already been over Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh's reasonable, under 200K. We talked about Youngstown, Dayton, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, 147. Guys, obviously Ohio's like a big one. I'll give you full disclosure. There is a lot of wholesalers in Ohio because it's been a really easy market for the last really 15, 20 years. So they are getting more competition. It's getting more competitive. So Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, there's parts of Georgia that we already showed. And I can tell you, there's definitely parts of Tennessee and the Carolinas. more, in my opinion, more Southern Carolina and the western part of North Carolina, guys. I can go on all day long on data. Guys, these markets are out here. You're going to have to take some risk when you do a virtual market. But those of you that are complaining, listen, I just can't find a market. I've just ripped through probably about 15 or 20, and they're absolutely there for the taking for you. And I want you to understand that is if you're in a market where it's just unsustainable and you're talking about $1 million prices, find another market, go virtual. It's not the end of the world. I've done it. It takes a little bit of time to get it going. And I got a note on here, Kansas City. And guys, listen, you go to Mississippi, but I don't want you to get into the super challenging. Omar, thanks for that comment. I don't want you to get on there thinking, just don't go to properties that like you just don't feel are safe neighborhoods. It's just not worth it. It's a pain in the butt. So I got Swordfish on here from San Diego. So Swordfish, when you get a chance, go back and rewind this live, and I give you some ideas from the market. But San Diego, guys, I wouldn't even try San Diego because it's like you're looking at close to $1 million price points just for like, probably a fixer up there though. So so I appreciate it. And so we got our typical spammers on here. So just ignore them as usual. Nothing I can do about them. So guys, that's it. I mean,